Yo, ho, ho! What's going on, guys? Um, so today we will be doing a discussion on the S class. I'd like to do a video series addressing some of the different heroes that have been leading the storyline as the strongest rank in the series, and compare them from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. Last year we kind of did this with the podcast, but not necessarily in a structured format. Only when the individuals introduced themselves for the first time at the beginning of the Monster Association arc. But I feel it's best to do this formally. So first off, we're going to be starting with Pig God. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. We should be good with the audio and everything. All right. So Pig God isn't appealing. Like visually, I'm not attracted to the character. There aren't really like that many like manga or anime tropes that like I'm attracted to in terms of fatness, in terms of large like individuals. It's not necessarily that I'm like offended by it or like it's like lesser or anything. It's just that like it's just not appealing whatsoever. An example that I can think of is King from Seven Deadly Sins. He has a transformation or an ability to transform from a skinny appearance of a little boy to a much older, mature but obese royalty figure. And it's cool and it's funny because of how they play that comedically. But I don't really see too many instances of comedy with Pig Guy that aren't on the the surface level. Him asking for more food, him being in the background, him just like wobbling up doing these things. Those are definitely forms of comedy, but they're more describing or they're more displaying what the character actually is, like how he actually goes about things, what he does. When we first got into the Monster Association arc, and we got to see the amazing architecture of all the different like hallways, stairways, rooms, facilities that are in the beginning of the association. That's connected to a subway, underground subway, at least in the surface half of it, in the portion of Z City. And we see Pig God just strolling through. Before that, we see a picture of Pooty Pooty and Darkshine coming through this hole, like super badass. You see a picture of Tatsumaki flying across, made it look so cool. And then you see Pig God with some monsters behind him just eating, and that's really characteristic of how he is. Whenever we've seen him, he's been just eating. And it makes you think, having a minimal understanding of like biology or like human anatomy, that like the more you eat, if your body isn't using that energy that's being transformed from the food, then it'll build it up. It's gonna build it up regardless, but it'll build it up, to make sure that you have stuff saved for later on. That's the basic purpose of fat, to help maintain energy and different others. It has a bunch of different sources, it has a bunch of different uses inside of the body. But one of its main uses is to give you a source of storage for energy. So you would think that like being an S-class hero, being somebody who's capable of such incredible fighting capabilities, that you would have to be expending enormous amounts of energy. And if you're doing it consistently enough, which it seems like the heroes may or may not, it's hard to tell with like how often a lot of these guys don't show up to catastrophic events or even major events in different areas. But regardless of the case of that, let's say that Pig God is pretty active, right? You'd think that he'd be burning some of that energy, but it isn't the case. So we know that there's going to be some monstrous monstrification explanation that's going on here. We were given it. I have to make the caveat that it's been actually removed from chapter 1, 2, 3. In the revision that Murata made, he took out the panels that we're going to be referencing for a portion of this video. And I'll make sure to post a link to the site that still has the unrevised version so you can see the context of it. And decide for yourself whether you want to add that into the current existing canon, whether it's back reference that we should already know, or whether it was removed for a purpose. But that being said, it seems like it's going to be a form of monstrification. Now, in a discussion with Dr. Genius and Zombie Man, it was explained to us that there may be similarities between the method in which normal individuals mutate, overeat, or some form of monstrification that can occur in different methods may be similar to how these heroes have gotten to their state. That maybe these heroes have monstrified, but in a different form and a different method. And obviously, us using monstrification in this method or monstrified or all those different sorts, they're trying to refer to the methods in which individuals or animals or things turn into like nefarious monsters, whether it's a turtle mutating because he was eating so much trash, whether it's a guy that was eating so many crabs so he turned into a crab, whether it was a guy who loved frogs and he turned into a frog and started licking pornos, whatever may be the instance. We know that there's a variety of different ways that you can mutate. So it's safe to assume, whether you accept this canon or not, that Pig God is also derived from this source, derived from this method of mutation, seeing as he has these incredible capabilities. It was told to us in this context of the removed information that because he's eating plants, humans, animals, and monsters consistently for so long and so much that he started to gain resistance to toxins and different things like that. And, you know, obviously, to an extent, that's how the human body can work to a much less drastic degree, and in particular instances. But it's not a horrible explanation as to why he's able to, for example, resist the attacks from the Gorgon Eye monster that we saw that attacked Child Emperor. He got bitten a few times by several of the snakes on her head, and there wasn't really a difference in Pig God's state. He's eating all kinds of things in front of us, and there really hasn't been a change in Pig God's state. So it was also described that the fat that he has on his body, his arms all over, on his stomach especially, is enough to nullify the impact of all different kinds of trauma forces, of big punches. And the picture was actually drawn or depicted a picture of a fist hitting it right in the stomach, and the ripples spreading out around there. So whatever concept you want to address there with that, it was also mentioned that knives, slicing and cutting, would also not work. So the reason why we have to address it or look at it in that instance or in that manner is because it's not a canon source. And like I said, if you want to take it into acceptance or not, this really boosts up Pig God's stance in the story. Previously, in the last year, we made a video, can Pig God eat EC? And revisiting that topic with the occurrences of the recent fight, it seems like it's probable that he wouldn't be able to eat the centipede in a pure no caveat situation, right? Where they're making no specifications, no little instances, right? But if we were to continue to entertain the example that we placed in the video, whether Pig God, without resistance, when EC is incapacitated or whatever the case may be, can swallow Elder Centipede. I still don't have a way to say no to that. This fight with Gums, which we're going to address in a second, has really, like I said, adjusted my viewpoint on the indomitability of Pig God. But these removed information panels really contradict that. It makes me want to hype up Pig God as one of the stronger guys, as you hear about that whole obesity complex. I believe I've heard about this. I'd like you guys to do some research to see if you guys can pull it up as well. But the fat body, extremely fat, is an indomitable body. Maximum energy source, a lot of weight, move it, bring power. But we already know all the extreme complications that come with an obese individual. The extreme health complications, health issues, and stuff like that. It's not beneficial. Scientifically not true. That's wrong. But this is a fictional source. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pig God has abnormally strong physical capabilities. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he could fight Darkshine in a competent fight. Now, you gotta remember, we're manga only, right? So there is a few ranks between Pig God. There are a few ranks between Pig God and Darkshine. There are a few. But if this guy can tank punches, and we're obviously not taking the exaggeration, right? We're not taking into acceptance what they told us that he can nullify all trauma. Fuck no, bro. If Saitama runs up on a nigga, one good one, he's out of there. He's popping. It's not a question. So, how much does it take? Saitama can bust a planet. It's just not going to take planet busting strength to kill Pig God. Somebody else should be able to do it. Would the Fist Strike do it? Would Darkshine's upcoming display hopefully be an instance of what can defeat Pig God? Is it going to be a matchup situation where trauma really doesn't work that well up against him? Kind of like black sperm, right? Are you going to need fire? Are you going to need ice? Are you going to need excessive poison? Maybe acid like Drive Knight has? What's really good up against Pig God? Because I've just seen with the Pig God versus Gums situation, combatively, Gums is holding his own. Now, this isn't to say anything. We don't have a reference point for either of these characters, so we can't say one is weak or one is strong compared to anybody else, because we really just haven't seen much. They've been tussling back and forth. It hasn't blown the room up, so maybe they're less destructive than like Homeless Emperor, Vaccine Man, guys like that who've been pretty destructive with their fights or with their abilities off the bat. But maybe they're more tankier than those guys. Maybe they can take a lot of destruction that those guys can do. I just don't know. And the only thing I know is that I don't like this fight. I just don't like it. I don't like this fucking like hugging shit, slamming up against each other shit. Like he got thrown down and they came back at him. Is that how Pig God fights? Like, I want to see some badass drawings, some badass depictions, or I don't really like care how the outcome is. Now, this isn't saying anything that like completely destroys the potential of this fight, right? We know that hasn't let us down this entire series. And when it does happen, it's because it's on purpose by one. Goketsu, for example, right? Big Goketsu can take on 35 S-class niggas. Got bodied by set time off screen. So, is there a danger for the Gums fight to be off screen? I think so. I think, as enthusiastic as I am about the art and the manga and the story so far, I'm in the minority. Some people may be a little bit less capable of being affected so heavily by the story. You know, there are times where I just completely hate a chapter, while people say it was all right. You know, they're okay with some flashy shit, right? And there are times where I completely blow up a chapter. And the times where we get that information about the different characters and the people that Drive Knights are spying on, right? Some people weren't as hyped about that. It was just exposition information, right? But I found it to be really, really, really entertaining. So, is my dislike of the Pig God versus Gum situation so far, the aesthetics of it at the least, is that like what you guys feel? I'd like to hear about that in the comment section after this video to get into that a little bit. But more than just that, how do you guys feel about Pig God? Because I mentioned before that I'm not attracted to his appearance. He hasn't really had that much impact in the story to like make me like his abilities or anything. You know, the first time we see him fight, it's like even depictions of excessive strength have been a lot cooler than what he's shown so far. And you would expect that he'd be all about that bang, bang, slam, whatever. But like, we'll see. Like I said before, there's an undefined amount of potential with this character. The description that was removed for Pig God in chapter 1, 2, 3 made it seem that Pig God would be able to fight all kinds of specialities. If a guy's a fucking speed demon, he's tough enough to take their attacks, like Flashy Flash. If a guy has a mastery of blades, he may be tough enough to take an atomic slash. If a guy has cannons on him, like fucking Darkshine, he may be able to tank a lot of his hits. Those are things that like that removed canon reference really alluded a lot to. And like, I'm kind of low-key upset that it's gone, but I need greatness to come out of this Gums versus Pig God fight. I need Gums to gigantify. I need Pig God to take him on in a gigantification. I need Pig God to pull out some abilities that I don't expect from a guy like him. And I need shit, bro. I need that Dark Side versus Gorilla, what I really need, bro. I really need that shit for real, bro. Come on, man. That's what you doing, bro. Come on, dog. All right. But that being said, I think that's about it for the evaluation of Pig God. Like I said before, there's a lot of potential, not only with just the fight with Gums and Pig God, but as we discussed before, Pig God's potential with like being able to eat incredible feats. Like incredible feats. If he's able to eat EC, that'd be an incredible thing. One of the craziest things we've seen all series. I'd like to see his vulnerabilities to different individuals. I'd like to see his ability of intelligence. You know, something to say that an obese person can't be incredibly intelligent. You know, doesn't seem like he is. He's not really motivated for that kind of thing. But I wouldn't hate to see more of Pig God. But right now, I don't really mind seeing other stuff that's not Pig God. If you'd like to expand the conversation, not only in the comment section about your opinion about Pig God and the fight and other things, and come into the Discord. We have a lot of Pig God enthusiasts, Pig God's strongest S-Class guys. There's a whole fan base for it in the Discord, so come through and talk. If you'd like to support the channel and the things that we've been doing so far, and how we're going to try to evolve the channel as we progress forward with the different sources, different mangas, and One Punch Man in general, make sure you check out our Patreon. We have a bunch of different tiers: $1 tier, $2 tier, $5 tier, $10 tiers, where you get all different kinds of perks, shout outs, exclusive insides, early access to the uncut podcast, all different kinds of things that you can grab. So make sure you like the video, comment below, and you'll see our boys in the Discord, man. Yo ho ho!